Hi, my name is Tai. Welcome to Brand My Idea. Um, I'm Again, my name is Tai. I'm creative director here at Imago DA, and what Imago DA is that we're a creative agency, and our basic vision is to help brands, especially homegrown African brands, to grow into global brands. Okay, homegrown African ideas, homegrown African products, homegrown African services. All right, our big vision, our big goal is to help these products, services, and companies and businesses to grow into global brands. That's our one passion, and that's what we always set out to do. And what we do with Brand My Idea every week is that on Mondays we take 30 minutes to talk in very simple terms, right, in everyday language. We want to just go back and forth and just talk around different aspects of building a great brand. Okay, because that's what we're passionate about. Okay, so at any point during this, please feel free to throw back questions or some kickback or something that resonates with you. Maybe you've had an experience that sounds like what we're talking about, or something you have read or heard. Please feel free. We are just trying to learn from each other and just share together. Okay, now today what we want to do is we want to talk around what is called brand differentiation, right? Sounds like a big word, but basically it just means how you can stand out amongst the competition. So let's look at it together. Why are we even talking about this? Now, if you, whatever business you run, say you make shoes or you make hair products, I can see that Afropello is here. Thank you for joining in. Afropello is, I think, maybe our most consistent audience member. Okay, and we're really glad to have you here, right? Okay, so Afropello does African hair care products. Now, I'm sure that if we look at it in Nigeria, there are probably, I don't know how many different African or organic hair care producers. There are quite a lot. No matter the business that you are doing, there are chances that you are in a competitive market, which means there are other people that are doing exactly the same thing that you're doing, maybe in a different way, maybe with different style, but in terms of product offering, most likely you would have other people right in your in the space you're operating in who are offering the very same things that you are. And now you can say, oh, okay, I can try and push a unique selling point, or I can and all of that. That's not what we're talking about. The truth is, at the end of the day, the customer wants to select a brand, not really a product, because there are many that are doing the product. There's something that is connecting them with a little more than what you are selling that they are going to reach out for. And so brand differentiation is one of the ways you can actually set apart yourself and carve a unique identity, such that you don't just become one among many African hair care producers. That's for an Afropello. Or I can see that there is a region school of life, I guess. If you can put in what you do, it would be great, so that we can also interact. Or say a manufacturer of shoes, right? You would also have something other than just, this is another guy who makes shoes, but a unique identity. Okay, let me give random examples. Although I'm going to be using examples of brands that maybe have grown and have been built over many years. But when you want to buy a Nike, you go to the market and say, I want to buy a Nike. You don't just go randomly and say, oh, sneakers, maybe I'll do Adidas, or maybe I'll do a Reebok or whatever. You actually go and say you want to buy a pair of Nikes. It's no more. It's what I mean is, Nike is no more just another pair of sneakers. Nike is, it's a unique identity on its own, right? So this is what we want. How do I differentiate my company, my product, such that it doesn't become, in the mind of the customer, it is not just one among many other people who are offering what I'm offering, but there's a unique identity that it's carved around it. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, please throw back a question at me. I'm hoping I'm using very simple and everyday language that we can engage with and really just understand. Right? So brand differentiation. Now, there are many different aspects to doing brand differentiation. If you go online and read, there's a book, maybe not really focused on differentiation as much as standing out. It's called Purple Cow. It's a really popular book, and I'd encourage that you go and read it. Okay, awesome. Regent School of Life, you're an NGO that works with young people for personal and professional development. Amazing. Thank you for joining in today. Again, I would love for kickback and just feedback as we go on. Questions as well are more than welcome. So yes, I was saying that you can go ahead and read Purple Cow. It's an amazing book. Just research it. You'll find that, right. I used just a bit of their coinage, so that we can identify with it. Mr. Yombo, good afternoon. Great to have you here. Really amazing to have you here. Thank you for joining in. All right. Now, as I was saying earlier, brand differentiation rather can be done in a lot of ways, right? So a number of people talk about pricing. So for example, if you have 10 makeup artists in an area, and you want to say, how can I differentiate my own brand? It's not that I think my brand is different, therefore I'm different. No, we are talking about the customer. How does the customer kind of set you apart in their mind, right? And such that you have a unique identity from everybody else. So you can say maybe pricing and say, okay, I can differentiate myself by pricing. So if say for example, I want to bring in a new drink. Awesome. A good example of this was the Boom, I guess. Is it Boom? Yeah, Boom, I think. The carbonated soft drinks maker, is it Boom or Bolt or something? No, Bolt is the new one by La Casera. I was just speaking with a friend earlier, so that's another example, but it's not in pricing. You had Coca-Cola and you had Pepsi playing in that space, and then Biggie, yes, it was Biggie. So Biggie came into the market and thought, okay, how could they differentiate themselves from an already saturated carbonated drinks market? And so they came in with pricing. So they had this huge bottle with low price, and it threw a lot of the other guys off balance, right? You think, oh, but everybody knows Coke and everybody knows Pepsi. Not really. They came in from the pricing angle, and so pricing is one way that you can differentiate from a crowded marketplace. So you have a lot of people playing in that space. Pricing is one of the ways you can set yourself apart. But I'm not going into all those other, the pricing, the technical things. I want to talk a bit about a keyword called novelty. Okay, it's one of the ways you can differentiate your brand from people that are playing with in the market. So I said pricing is one of the ways you can. I've mentioned novelty. And then a novelty comes with a lot of other sub points, if we can call it that. Now, what's the word novelty? I love novelty a lot. Novelty just simply means newness, something that hasn't been seen before. And one of the ways you can differentiate your brand in a crowded place is to come in and present what you are doing in a way that has not been seen before. So even if you have makeup, everybody's selling makeup, either the service or people are selling makeup in terms of the product. Novelty would be, rather than coming in and doing it the way everybody has been doing it, I come in with a different, something different. Now, novelty can be in a number of ways. First I'll mention is novelty can be in product. I can come in with a different product entirely. Nobody says that right, maybe the core of the product may be makeup, but nobody says that I have to sell the service of makeup. I can sell something else that has to do with makeup, but is not the regular product that people are selling. For example, I can sell a product that says, makeup at the speed of a call or something. So, I'm just thinking off the top of my head. Say, for example, I carry a van around with fully kitted with everything, and that just moves around, right? And my makeup service is just a call away. You call us and we're here. You can get your product, or you can get the service at just the speed of a call, right? That's novelty of product. It's the same. The core of it is still is makeup, but I'm creating a product, a larger product around that raw thing of makeup, so that it is different from what has been offered. So in terms of what has been offered, makeup has probably been offered as a walk-in service or a home service kind of thing, but it's always the same of you come and I get your face done or your nails done. But what if I give a different product and I call it makeup at the speed of a call, right? And so it's no more just your walk-in, It's no more just your, maybe the home service, but it's at the speed of a call, and you get it, maybe you get whatever you need in 15 minutes. So that's novelty of products. Okay, I can take whatever, the same thing I'm offering, but I carve a unique product around it, right? Something that is not seen. Another example of novelty of product would be maybe somebody in agriculture. So the regular thing maybe with agriculture would be, say for example, I run a fish farm, and I raise my fish, smoke my fish, and then sell my fish, right? That's a product. The smoked fish, or I deliver, smoked fish is the product. But say, what if we can create a different product with fish, or with the raised fish, but a completely different product from the regular smoked fish? Maybe fish cubes, or fish bits, or something that, or some kind of fish that you put inside. Once you put it in the water, it becomes, I don't know, something, but a different product, still fish, but a different product than what people have been seeing around. Okay, and on. But that's what we mean by novelty of product. So yeah, you may have people operating in the same space as you, doing exactly the same thing as you are doing, but one of the ways you can differentiate your brand is by coming in from a different angle. Either by offering a new kind of product entirely, something different from what people have been seeing. Another way that you can bring in novelty is to come in with novelty of service delivery, right? So it's the same product, but you want to try and present it in a way that is not seen, that different from what is obtainable in your market space. So you see the normal way of delivering, let's say lab tests. Okay, so people walk into a laboratory and they get their lab tests done. How differently can I offer this same product that is different from what is often obtainable around me? So say maybe what I want to do is to do maybe the calling, or is there a way that people can get their samples, get tested, and get their results? How differently can we offer this very same product, but in a way that is entirely different from what is obtainable? And maybe another example would be, say, baking. I know that there are a number of food brands around, so maybe it's a cake business, and the regular way of delivering this product is maybe people call and get a cake order, or they walk in, get a cake ordered, and it gets done. Can I think of a different way to offer this very same product of cakes that is different? What if I do a tea shop or a sandwich place, right? So I'm not getting cake orders, but I get people walking for a hot cupcake and a cup of tea. We're still doing cakes, but we're offering it in a way that is not common. Maybe I should use that word. Novelty again is newness, something that is not often seen where you are operating. So I can say, okay, what if I do a sandwich place? So rather than bake cakes, what if I bake breads, different kinds of breads, and I do sandwiches and have people walk in, or whatever, and get their sandwiches and maybe tea or coffee or something, and pick it up, and that's all I'm selling, right? I'm not doing orders, I'm not doing events. I'm offering my product in that's a service delivery, or we can call it a product depending on however you want to put it. So on and on, right? Every product can be offered in a number of ways, right? I say that, you see, every idea first of all has to be told, and every product must first be sold. So that point of selling can come in a number of ways. That you have a product does not mean that somebody will buy it. You have to sell it, and the selling can be the point of differentiation. How am I bringing my product into the market? In what form? In what package? In what form? So again, we're saying service delivery. Okay, another way you can offer novelty is, especially here in Nigeria, this is peculiar to the Nigerian space, but novelty of operations. Now, we have this general system here in Nigeria that we have a lot of mediocrity. So let's just be plain and simple. There's a lot of mediocrity around us here, and such that if you can offer a certain standard of service, place a really high, a high gauge on yourself and offer a certain standard of service, right? In terms of operation, how are we operating? Novelty, based on the environment, how do people usually operate? People who run businesses like this, how do they usually operate in this environment? Okay, and I say, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this very differently. I'm going to offer this in a very different way, right? So you can say, well, okay, we have a very peculiar standard of excellence. We do not go below this, and we say, okay, this is how we want to offer it. Novelty can also come in terms of packaging, especially if you manufacture. I always encourage, right? Especially if you are a manufacturer. Manufacturing does not necessarily mean you have a huge supply chain, and you have big machines. It could be that you make something in your kitchen to sell. It could be that you fry chin chin, right? It's manufacturing. It's food manufacturing. But if you manufacture things to sell, I always encourage, can you package it in a way that nobody else would have seen what you're selling being packaged? It's not just to try and create a fuss, but it's to bring in novelty. That already will automatically stand you out. If, for example, I make cupcakes to sell, everybody puts cupcakes in the regular white boxes with the small holes. Yes, it's easier to buy, I guess. But what if I decide to put my own cupcakes in, love-shaped brown boxes? Or maybe not even a box. Must I even use a box? What if I use a moi tin? Something. Now, whether or not that would work, I don't know. But already you have created some differentiation between you and the players in your market space. You want to make sure that every way you try and create some sort of differentiation, right? So I've said you can do that with pricing. I said that earlier. I said that you can do that with yes, Afropello says differentiate yourself. I said you can do that with product, novelty of product, right? I said that you can do that with novelty of service delivery, okay, right? And you can also do that in terms of packaging. How your product is packaged, is one of the ways that you can differentiate yourself. Remember, I said earlier that brand differentiation basically is a way that you stand out in the midst of a lot of competition. So I'll pause here. I want to know if there are questions. Does anybody have a question, maybe something you have walked through, or based on how this is hitting you, is there something that you want to kick back on and say, okay, how can I do this? How can I practically, this is my business, this is what I do, how can I practically differentiate myself? Or I have tried to differentiate myself at a point, it wasn't really, or is there a line to cross, on and on and on. So I'll give like a few minutes, kick back at me, and then we'll try and wrap it up. We have us about 10 minutes or so to go, and then we'll wrap it up later. Okay, so let's give a few minutes to see yeah. Okay, while we're waiting for the questions to come in, I think I would want to also maybe give a lot more in-depth, should I say, examples on especially the part of service delivery, okay? Because I think that a lot of times when we enter a market, we want to say, okay, what's my unique selling point, and this is who I am. I'm bringing myself, which is one aspect of actually having a unique brand. But I would always say that you want to start from your customer. So when we're talking about novelty, I don't want you to think novelty in terms of what is new to me or what I think is fancy. We're not talking fancy stuff. It's not fancy. Novelty isn't really fancy. In fact, novelty doesn't have to be fancy. Novelty is just saying, who are the people I'm selling to? What are they used to seeing? So her Royal Cakeness is here. Awesome, welcome, her Royal Cakeness. Right. So now, let's go back to what we were talking about earlier about offering, baked goods rather. Let's say cakes or whatever. And you think, okay, who am I selling to? So I sell to urban, people, male and females, or men and women age. Usually my customers range from age, say maybe 18 to 55. Those are people I sell to. You want to think, okay, in 2020, the average urban person, male or female, aged 18 to 55, what are they used to seeing? What do they see when it comes to cakes? Most likely they would, when I think cakes, I think of a white box with the cake inside, or a tray with a really pretty nylon. So if I'm saying I want to offer some novelty in terms of service delivery, I have to think, okay, can I package in a way that is not what has been seen? That's all. Not fancy. Okay, how fancy can I make this? Oh, no, we're not talking fancy. We're just saying this is what is usually obtainable. White boxes and, pretty nylons. How else can a cake be packaged? It doesn't even have to be something that you have seen on the internet. It doesn't, in fact, that's the point. But you know your product. You know that, okay, my product is kept safe in this kind of packaging. Okay, how differently can I do this? Can I do cloth? Can we do something that is not a box? Or is there a way to present a box that is different from what is generally obtainable? That's one way of saying, okay, I want to differentiate myself from my competitors, and I want to do it in terms of how I offer my product. The product is still the same. I'm not changing my product. It's still cakes. It's still wedding cakes or birthday cakes, or cakes that people generally order. The product is the same as what the bake shop down the street is doing, but I want to offer my product in a way that is different. So again, I know that Frupello Care is also here. I'm saying, okay, hair products. What is the usual way that hair products are usually offered? And you have the bottles with the, how they are. Is there a reason why? Is there a different way that hair products can be offered that it wouldn't be the same? Now, a good example of this was what Cowbell did back in the days. So I heard the story that so you had regular tin. People used to have the normal tin milks, and people used to buy milk tins, and then they refill those big sachet that you refill into the tin. That was the average way that milk was being sold back in the day. Now, I heard that in the north, you had these malams that used to take the big tin and then scoop a bit into, tiny nylons and sell for maybe 5 naira or whatever. And so, there were people playing in the market. There were, I can't remember the names of the milk brands, back in the day. But then Cowbell wanted to come in and actually differentiate themselves. And so Cowbell was the brand that first started those small cheap sachets of milk, and they came, okay, everybody offers milk in these big sachets, can we do something different? And they decided they would offer it in tiny sachets, cheap, and they took the market by storm. Okay, so it wasn't even a thing of changing the packaging. It's not that they said, okay, what kind of nylon can we use? No, they decided that, okay, rather than offer milk in a bulk, can we offer it in tiny sizes? So you say, okay, I do shampoos. Is there a different way that we can bring in shampoos that doesn't have to be in the regular bottle sizes that everybody buys? What other way can people, or will people even prefer to use shampoos? Can I say, okay, in between your braids, like once in 3 months, you just need a little bit of a shampoo? Okay, so do we want to offer shampoo in a sachet or something that you can really just pick up, or have a number of sachets and say, what, I'm going to use this for the whole year? That's novelty in terms of service, delivery and service offering. You have to think difference. How differently can I bring in my product into the market? We mentioned in the earlier part of this session that you can actually differentiate yourself by product. So I was talking about Harrier Cakeness wasn't here, but I was talking about bake shops usually just offer cakes, right? So, but what if I offer a sandwich shop instead of the regular cakes, and I say I'm doing cupcakes and tea, right? That's a different way to offer, right? But here I'm even now saying, in terms of service delivery, you have to think very creatively. We are in a changing world. The COVID-19 period has done a lot of things in terms of the psyche of people and how people look at life. Okay, you have to now start thinking, how differently can I bring in my product? Can I do a cake express, for example, such that I have maybe mixes down already, and not even the there's this one that they say 1 minute cakes or something like that. I'm not even doing saying, I'm saying a product that is like cake express. That you can pick up something immediately, however it is, but your space, what operates within your space, but you want to be thinking, how can I differentiate myself from my competitors by offering my product in a completely different way than what is obtainable right here, and right now. Another example was, I think it is no, I'm not quite sure, but I know that one of the seasoning brands, I recently saw in somebody's house that, they actually had crushed it and the seasoning came in powdered form, and I'm like, fantastic, because you know that the cubes usually would get soggy after a while. Okay, and some people actually prefer to crush their seasoning cubes before putting it into, so they'll crush, then put it into whatever they're cooking. And these people decided, okay, why don't we even offer seasoning in a crushed form? Now, we're not talking the white powdered seasoning, the regular stock cubes that we know, but these people are offering it in powdered, in a crushed format, which I think was brilliant, because it's what people are using. So you want to look at your audience. How are they seeing things? Is there a gap that I can come in? People who are playing in my market space, is there a way that they are offering this product that is not entirely meeting all the needs of the customer? Can I offer my product in a way that is completely different? It's not just talking about packaging, but even how it gets to the customer. So normally, I was talking about makeup earlier. People walk into a store, or they call, and get, either home delivery or an in-store delivery when it comes to makeup services. Is there a different way that makeup can get to people that has nothing to do with all of that? Can I partner with some logistics, company, and get, makeup at, like I said earlier, at the click of a button or whatever? Or maybe you do retail, you sell perfumes, or you sell watches or something. Everybody that does, maybe small retailing, maybe does it on either WhatsApp or Instagram, and you call, and then I get your product to you. But you want to be asking yourself, is there a different way that I can offer my retailing services that is quite different from what is generally obtainable? Okay, so here and there, and then creative thinking basically is what we're saying. And you want to be reviewing your service delivery, you want to be reviewing your product itself, and looking at what is obtainable around. What's your competition doing? How differently can you do what you're doing? How can you do things in a way that is novel, in a way that is different from what people are used to seeing, and for what they are, they can see as is obtainable around them. Okay, so I think we are just about done. I have 2 minutes to go. I'll see if there are any questions right now. If there are none, I think we can close it out. Okay, I think we can close it out for today if there are no questions. I hope this has been helpful. This video will be on our IGTV as well, just like it was last week. So you can just join in. You can join in or watch it again if you would like to. It'll just be here on our in our profile. All right. Okay, if there are no questions, thank you so much for joining. I saw a number of people who came in and then, they went off at a point. So thank you so much. I hope this was helpful. If you're watching this afterwards, you can send in, feedback, how it has helped you and how it's helping your business. Oh, I should also say we have something cooking. You notice that I probably mentioned a bit of food. On World Chocolate Day, which is on July the 7th, we're going to have a webinar on food branding. So if you run a food business, or you're just a business owner and you want to kind of pick up a few things from this session, it's going to be free. It's a free webinar on food branding. How to brand if you run a food business. We want to learn from chocolate. Chocolate is one of the best branded food items in the world, or in history even. Okay, I mean, if you look at what a cocoa pod looks like, and you look at it, doesn't look like what you think when you think of chocolates, right? So there's a lot of branding that goes into chocolate. So chocolate offers us priceless lessons to learn when it comes to branding. So we'll have a webinar. Then that's July the 7th. Other details will be sent, in the course of the week. All right. So hoping you guys can also join in for that. Right. Thank you so much for being a part of this. Have a lovely week ahead. Thank you.